What's going on, everyone? So welcome to my latest video. This is my February 2023 films catch-up video. This is where I talk about all the 2023 films that I saw in the month of February. Now, if you're new to my channel, I'm going to be talking about these movies very briefly, and then I'll be giving you guys my rating. If you want my full in-depth thoughts on these movies, I do have something called Letterboxd, which is an amazing app. It's basically Instagram for film buffs, film critics, casual goers. It brings everyone together. It's awesome. My Letterboxd is down below. I would definitely be looking forward to hearing from you guys if you guys do decide to follow me on Letterboxd, and I will try to follow back. But anyways, so yeah, I'll be talking about these 6 movies. I'll be going from the beginning of the month to the end of the month from what I saw in terms of February. But guys, enough exposition. Let's get started. So kicking things off, at the beginning of February, I did see Knock at the Cabin, the latest M. Night Shyamalan movie, and truthfully, I respect him as a director quite a bit, despite him being kind of hit or miss. Unfortunately, this was a miss. I was quite disappointed by this movie. I don't know if it's because I grew up very religious, but I was able to tell everything that was going to happen within 2 minutes of this movie. I'm not even kidding. If you have any religious background, you're going to be able to put the dots together, and it's like, oh, okay. And now, don't get me wrong, there are plenty of movies where it's like, oh, it's kind of predictable, and it's like, oh, whatever. Like, maybe the filmmaking's good, maybe it's entertaining. Filmmaking is okay, I suppose, but the entertainment value just also really wasn't there. It's an R-rated movie, but all the violence is off screen, and it's done in very odd, jarring kind of edits. Speaking of which, I wasn't the biggest fan of the editing. Cinematography was kind of hit or miss for me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I can understand if some people like this movie. It's just, for me personally, it was just a swing and a mess. I do respect the fact that M. Night Shyamalan did try to at least go up to bat and try to hit the ball with an original movie, but it just wasn't something that I liked. Oh, also, I wasn't a big fan of the themes and messages. I thought, actually, the themes and messages were kind of troublesome. Again, no spoilers, but if you've seen the movie, you probably know what I'm talking about. But, Knock at the Cabin, I'll personally be giving a... Next up, we have Missing. This is the movie that's kind of a sequel, kind of a standalone movie to Searching, which was a surprise hit in 2018. And I did see Searching twice, once in theaters and then once on Blu-ray, which I do own in my collection because I loved Searching. So I can't lie, I was kind of skeptical going into Missing because, I mean, it's a January movie. I saw it in February, but it came out in January. I don't know, it was just kind of like one of those movies that I had no excitement for, but I gotta say, I actually quite liked this movie. I could definitely see myself watching it again because it is an unpredictable movie. I mean, without a doubt. There are some things that are a little bit predictable for, again, more seasoned moviegoers, but at the same time, there's just such an energy to everything, and it's you just can't help but really be enthralled by all the editing. Lead performance is really good. I mean, there's a lot to appreciate with this movie. I would definitely recommend it. I personally like Searching a lot more, but again, as it stands, Missing is quite good. It's a rock solid movie, and I gotta say, I'll personally be giving Missing a... Next up, we have Magic Mike's Last Dance. This is a Steven Soderbergh movie. If you're new to the channel, I'm a pretty big fan of Steven Soderbergh. And actually, this was the last movie of his that I needed to watch before being able to rank his movies. So that YouTube video will actually be coming out later on this year. I'm hoping Steven Soderbergh doesn't have another movie coming out this year because we all know how he likes to crank out those movies. But Magic Mike's Last Dance, I thought it was kind of disappointing. I mean, at the same time, though, hear me out. I'm not a huge fan of this franchise to begin with. I thought that the first Magic Mike was middle of the road, a little bit above average, maybe average, actually. And then the second one, I just wasn't really able to vibe with it. I get it, it's a road trip movie, it's a slice of life kind of movie. I just thought that overall it didn't quite work for me. And then Magic Mike's Last Dance, I feel like some audience members might really dig it. I mean, it's basically like a modern day Pretty Woman, and I like the concept of that. I do. I really think that could have been utilized really well, but I just thought the overall story itself was just kind of it just really didn't leave any room for, the characters to actually be developed, for, us to actually care about them. It was just oh, we're supposed to care about them because they're attractive. And it's I mean, I guess if we're going all surface level, I don't know. One of the big things that I liked about the original Magic Mike was that you actually did get to know the characters. And I just thought that Magic Mike's Last Dance, I thought that was kind of lacking for me personally. Characters do things just because why not? But it's not a terrible movie. It's just a movie that left me kind of cold. And also, it's called Magic Mike's Last Dance, but I guarantee you there will be a fourth entry. But for me, Magic Mike's Last Dance, I personally will be giving a... Next up, the biggest disappointment yet of the year, and we got Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantamania. Truthfully, I say disappointment, but I also am saying that kind of lightly because I saw the trailer actually for this movie many, many times. And every single time I saw it, I was like, oh gosh, I can't believe I have to see this movie in theaters. And I actually saw it and I was like, wow, that was a lot worse than the actual trailer. Holy cow. There were some visual effects in this that were okay. They were decent. And then there was some where I was like, wow, that got greenlit? Wow, that's bad. There's one character, you'll know when you see it. I don't know the name of his character, and I apologize, but he looks like Humpty Dumpty. Again, you'll know what I'm talking about if you've seen the movie. But it's just like, it's so cringy. And that's the other thing. The dialogue, the humor, all just was like cringy. I didn't laugh once in this movie, and the movie is trying its darndest to actually humor you, and it just didn't work. The villain Kang, I understand that people are saying in the comics that he's like a big deal and everything, and that's awesome. But actually watching him in Ant-Man and the Wasp and the Quantumania, which by the way is such like terrible title, but actually watching Kang, it just was very whatever, like typical one-dimensional Marvel villain. What else is new? Paul Rudd is charming, I suppose, but I wasn't a big fan of this movie. I really wasn't. It's continuing the trend for me of MCU movies that just really, really are rubbing me the wrong way. I mean, I don't know if I like this less or on equal par to Thor 4. It's tough. But for now, I'm going to give it the same rating I gave Thor 4, and that is a... Next up, we have Marlowe, which is the movie that I saw after Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. It was the doubleheader kind of night that I decided to do. Marlowe I was kind of curious about because, truthfully, on paper, it seems like it's a movie made for me. It's Neil Jordan, the same director did Crying Game. It's Liam Neeson. It's a neo-noir. It's a period piece. I mean, those are all things that I love. I love the noir genre. It really is something that I can say that I love. Marlowe, unfortunately, is very, 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 very bottom of the barrel in terms of noir. It's as simple as that. Although, I will say, there is a lot of potential. It stinks because, again, I see the potential on screen, but it just comes down to it's a weak script. It looks good. I like the production design. I like the costume design. Everything looks good. It's interesting to see Liam Neeson actually kind of be in a role that's trying to match his age. And not having it where he's doing like all these like stunts, but it's actually stunt people, and it's like obvious because there's like 60,000 different edits. It's nice to see all that. It's nice to see him in a different kind of role than what we're used to seeing. But at the end of the day, that script is just kind of filled with so many cliches that aren't able to rise above the occasion, and it's a shame. Marlowe, for me, I personally will be giving a... And last but not least, at the end of the month, I saw Cocaine Bear. So Cocaine Bear, the title says it all. I mean, if you want to see a movie where a bear ingests cocaine and then goes on a rampage, I mean, you're definitely going to get it. There are side characters where it's like, it kind of is like, it's whatever. And I will say the third act is pretty bad. Like, I actually did not like the third act at all, especially the scenes with Ray Liotta. You'll know what I'm talking about. It's a waterfall, Ray Liotta. That whole sequence was terrible. I was just like, wow, the writers were just like, okay, we're going to have this happen just because. That being said, I know I just started off with the negatives, and I usually try to start off with the positives. That being said, I did laugh at many instances during this movie. I think that there's one scene where a character accidentally gets shot. That had me dying of laughter. I actually was laughing out loud. It actually also is a pretty big rise up from Elizabeth Banks' last directing effort, which was Charlie's Angels. Did not like that movie at all. There's definitely some directing flair, and I am curious to see what she's going to do next after Cocaine Bear. And I do think that overall it is a movie that is best to watch with an audience. I feel like that is kind of getting the full experience. All that said, it is a very forgettable movie. Like, I'm talking to you right now about this movie, and it's like, okay, I remember this scene, but like everything in between, it kind of blends together. It really does. It's not by any means a movie you go to and you say, yep, it's got to be deep. You know what you're getting yourself into. It's a movie that's about a bear on a rampage. That's it. So for me, Cocaine Bear, I enjoyed it. It's very flawed, but I personally will still give Cocaine Bear a... But hey guys, that is my latest catch-up video for the month of February. What movies did you see in February that were 2023 films? Let me know in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget the subscription, notification bell, follow me down Letterboxd, and I will catch you guys later.